Hi, thank you for taking the time to check out this video. I promise you won't be disappointed. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button. When you are done watching the video, I'd like to know if you enjoyed it or not. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, hit the dislike button. Also, your feedback is important to me, so please don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. And finally, if you care, feel free to share this video on all social media platforms. Now, let's begin. So look, I just got finished watching the Dallas Wings versus Indiana Fever, opening game for those two teams of the 2026 WNBA season. And I got to tell you, I was deliberately paying attention to something. It was a good game. I think Dallas struggled defensively. I expected the Fever to struggle defensively because they just don't have players who I don't think those players want to defend. I think they're all about offense. They're not about defense. But in the preseason, I thought Dallas looked like they were going to be building a good defense. I thought they looked that way, but they seemed to kind of like stumbled in this opening game against Indiana and gave up 104 points. Luckily for them, they scored 107. So, but you're not going to win a lot of games giving the opposition 104 points. You know what I mean? So hopefully they clean that up. But what I was paying attention to also was I was looking at the interaction between Azzi Fudd and Paige Bueckers. And I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed in their interaction. Because there was no interaction. There was literally no interaction between them. And I found that disappointing because, all right, both of them are former UConn players. They played for years together on that team. And now they're both with the Dallas Wings, two number one picks. And, I never really, I'm not on TikTok or like that, so I never saw them officially say they're in a relationship, but people have said they came out on TikTok. I don't know that they did, but I'm questioning if they're still in a relationship, if they were even ever in one, because there was no interaction between these two players. I found that to be strange. I got to tell you, I found it to be very strange, the lack of interaction between Azzi Fudd and Paige Bueckers. And now here's what I will say. I don't think it was on Azzi's side. I don't think it was her side. It was coming from Paige. It was almost like Paige didn't want to interact with Azzi, and Azzi just knew to like keep her distance, which is weird. Which makes me ask the question, are they still together? If they were ever a couple, are they still a couple? And because the lack of interaction, I expected there to be some interaction between them. At the bare minimum, they're teammates. They are teammates. Forget the whole relationship and all of this stuff. They're teammates. I expected there to be some interaction. Paige, this is her second year. This is Azzi's first game. I expected there to be some interaction. Maybe Paige giving her some pointers, maybe talking, talking to her, like, calming the nerves or whatever. I saw nothing from her. I didn't even see her go up to Azzi and high five her or anything. I think there was one point where Paige was at the line and she made a free throw. And Azzi came up from behind because the guards are usually in the back, and she came up and tried to like give her that tap or whatever when people do make a free throw. I don't even know if she connected or got close enough to Paige to do that. I forgot because Paige was kind of like avoiding her. I'm gonna say it. She looked like Paige Bueckers looked like she was avoiding Azzi Fudd. That's the way it looked to me. And that's looked uncomfortable. I don't think Azzi was avoiding Paige. I think Paige was avoiding Azzi, and it looked uncomfortable and unnatural. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, y'all are teammates. I expect there to be some interaction. I don't know if they're a couple or not. I don't really care. Me personally, when I'm watching the WNBA, I'm not watching it for people's relationships. I'm watching it to watch basketball. If they're in a relationship, hey, it's not my life, right? I wouldn't want somebody to tell me how to live my life. So I'm not in the business of telling people how to live their life, okay? I just thought it was a little disappointing, the lack of interaction, right? I mean, the whole thing is they're from UConn. You want to see Paige and Azzi together playing and making magic happen, on the basketball court. That's part of the whole uh, thing behind them getting her in the draft, is to put those two together on the basketball court. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. They looked a bit uncomfortable. Paige was avoiding her. I don't know if she was avoiding her because they got a little criticism, because the whole when the reporter asked Azzi a question and the Dallas Wings rep like killed the question, which I thought was the right thing to do. And then a little later, couple days later, Paige addressed the issue in a statement. But my thing is, you shouldn't let what people say affect how you act, right? So unless there's some kind of tension, unless there is some personal tension between those two people, unless there is personal tension between Azzi and Paige, I would expect them to interact on the court. I would expect them to high five each other. I would expect them to talk to each other like they would in any other situation. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and criticize them, if they're possibly in a relationship. Listen, relationships on the job is not abnormal. Two people of equal position being in a relationship is not abnormal. All right? It's not against company policy, right? Because what would be abnormal would be a relationship between a player and a coach, or a player and, somebody higher than a player. It's not abnormal for two players to be in a relationship. But, because of the nature of society, WNBA relationships are going to be questioned and things like that. But I'm not getting into that kind of stuff. I'm just watching basketball, right? But I just don't want them to let public criticism affect how they interact with each other on the court. I want them to be naturally who they are and just play the game that way and interact with each other that way, and not worry about the noise, right? Not worry about what people think or what people say, because at the end of the day, the people who are going to criticize them aren't the people who are supporting them, right? So people who are going to criticize them being on the same team and being in a relationship, they're not going to support them. They'll never support them, really. Okay, so why give them the win? Why change who you are and change how you interact and act to each other because of them? Like, you're just letting them dictate how you should act. And I don't think you should do that. I don't think they should do that. So unless there is some underlying tension between these two people, unless they're not in a relationship anymore, or something happened and there's just some tension, I don't understand why Paige was avoiding Azzi. She was avoiding her. I mean, if you watch the game, she was avoiding her. So I don't know what's going on there. I mean, if that's what's gonna happen, then I guess people are right. Maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship if you're on the same team. If something happened and they're not really, couple anymore, and now you have one person avoiding the other person, then now you're just showing that, hey, maybe people's criticisms were right. So I hope that's not what's going on, but it looked uncomfortable. And I kind of felt bad for Azzi. Honestly, I was watching. I felt bad for Azzi because she clearly wanted to, like, dap Paige up and interact with Paige, but she kind of kept her distance because, I don't know, Paige was avoiding her. So I don't know. We'll see. It's a long season. 43 more games to go. I'm gonna be watching. I hope they're okay. I hope they're okay. Paige, please. It's not that serious. It's just basketball. Play basketball. Dap up your teammate, okay? All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.